Have you ever wondered why some men rise with the sun and face the world with an intensity, a purpose, and a silent resolve that others simply cannot comprehend? What is it about these men who seem unshaken by the chaos around them that gives them such power, such presence, such undeniable strength? It's not their physical stature, not their charisma, not the clothes they wear or the words they speak. It's the mindset that governs them, the ironclad fortress they build within themselves each morning. This is the power of Stoicism, a philosophy not of words but of action. It is the unwavering belief that what happens outside of us does not define us, that only what lies within, beneath the surface, shapes our destiny. This is not a passive philosophy but an active way of living. Stoicism is a choice. It is a radical acceptance of the world as it is, without illusions or delusions. The Stoic does not demand the world be as he wants it to be. He accepts it as it is and rises above it. And when he rises, he does so with the force of a man who has mastered his own soul. But there's a secret here, one that so many miss. Stoicism does not begin with the body. It begins with the mind. It begins with the first moments of the morning, when the world is still asleep, when distractions are muted and the opportunity to take control is laid bare. It is in these moments that the Stoic champions are forged. It is in these first minutes of the day that they build the foundations of their fortitude. In the early morning stillness, when the world has not yet demanded your attention, the first choice you make will define everything. Will you rise with purpose, ready to face the trials of the day with clear eyes and a steady heart? Or will you succumb to the temptations of comfort, to the pull of the bed, to the mindless escape of distractions? The Stoic understands that the way he greets the day is the way he will face the world. If he cannot master the quiet, sacred moments of the morning, how can he master the greater challenges that lie ahead? It's easy to forget this in the noise of modern life. The world is louder than ever before. The barrage of notifications, emails, texts, and endless demands on our attention create a fog that makes it hard to even hear our own thoughts, let alone control them. But this is where the Stoic man finds his power. In the silence, in the clarity of thought, in the mastery of his own mind. Imagine this: the first thought that crosses your mind upon waking up is not one of panic or dread, not one of confusion or doubt. Instead, it is a thought of clarity, of focus. The Stoic does not immediately react to the world. He decides how to engage with it. His mindset is his greatest tool, sharper than any sword, more reliable than any weapon. The Stoic understands that nothing in this world can harm him unless he lets it. The Stoic champion does not react. He responds. The world may throw challenges at him, insults, disappointments, failures, but none of these can alter his inner state unless he allows them to. Imagine the power that comes with such self-mastery. No man can take your peace unless you allow it. No event, no circumstance can determine your state of mind. The Stoic knows this, and he walks through life as a man who has made peace with what is. To build a Stoic mindset is to cultivate a level of emotional fortitude that transcends the superficial. It is to understand that emotions, while natural, are not to be ruled by. A man who masters his emotions does not suppress them, but observes them with the detachment of a calm observer. He allows them to arise, but he does not let them take control. This is emotional sovereignty, the ability to experience life fully without being enslaved by it. This emotional mastery is built over time. It's not something that is gifted to you. It is a practice, a discipline. Every morning, the Stoic awakens with the intention of seeing the world through the lens of wisdom, not reaction. He knows that his thoughts shape his reality, and so he guards his mind as he would guard the gates of a fortress. What enters is his choice. What stays is his choice. When the Stoic man looks in the mirror, he does not see a reflection shaped by the opinions of others. He sees the man he is becoming. He sees the face of someone who has been tested, who has faced hardship and emerged stronger. He sees a man who is not swayed by the fleeting emotions of the moment, but is rooted in the unshakable belief that his true strength lies in his mind. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers and emperors in history, understood this more than most. In the midst of ruling an empire and facing wars, betrayals, and personal loss, he found solace in the stillness of his own thoughts. In his meditations, he wrote that he would begin each day by reminding himself of his purpose, to serve others, to embody virtue, to maintain control over his own mind, regardless of what chaos may arise in the world. But this is not just ancient wisdom, this is practical for the modern man as much as it was for the emperor of Rome. You don't have to rule an empire to cultivate Stoicism. You don't have to face battles on foreign soil to learn how to conquer yourself. The battles you face are the ones inside your own mind. And those battles are fought in the moments when you wake up, when you choose how to begin your day. Imagine the power of waking up each morning, knowing that you are in full control of your emotional and mental state. Imagine the strength of being able to rise despite whatever challenges the day may bring, and face the world not as a victim, but as a man who is in control. What if every morning you could look at the day ahead, not with anxiety, but with calm resolve? This is the power of Stoicism. But this power is not easily gained. It requires daily discipline. It requires radical acceptance. The ability to look at the world not as you wish it would be, but as it is. And then to choose to act anyway. The Stoic does not wait for life to give him what he wants. He makes peace with what he has and rises above it. In the quiet hours of the morning when the world is still asleep, the Stoic man cultivates his power. This is the moment to fortify his mind, to prepare his heart, and to center himself in the clarity of purpose. The morning is his time, the time he shapes the rest of his day, and in doing so shapes his life. It is in these small moments, these seemingly insignificant actions, that the foundation of greatness is laid. How will you greet the day? Will you let it sweep you away with its distractions and demands, or will you rise above it, a champion of your own mind, a master of your emotions, a man who chooses his response, not his reaction? The answer is yours. The Stoic champion waits within you, ready to be awakened. But it is up to you to decide, will you rise to meet the day, or will you remain asleep to your own power? When a man chooses to rise, not just physically from his bed, but mentally from the slumber of distractions, he steps into the arena of life as a warrior. He is not simply reacting to the world, he is commanding it with an unwavering force that emanates from within. This is the power of self-mastery, the ability to control one's thoughts, actions, and emotions, no matter the circumstances. And this power begins in the early hours, when the world is still muted, when the chaos has not yet begun its incessant pull. The first thought upon waking up is like the first stone in a long wall. It sets the tone for everything that follows. If you rise with clarity, purpose, and a deep sense of intent, then your actions will follow suit. If you rise with confusion, resentment, or indecision, your day will unfold in a similar manner, a series of reactions, a surrender to whatever comes. The Stoic knows that his inner state is the foundation of everything. The external world cannot shake him if he has already decided who he is within. So the Stoic man builds his morning with purpose. He understands that the first hours of the day are not simply about accomplishing tasks, but about establishing the right mindset, one that will carry him through whatever the day presents. He begins with silence, not a silence born from avoidance, but one forged in discipline. The Stoic knows that silence is not an absence, it is a presence. It is a command over the internal noise that can so easily disrupt his clarity. This silence is the crucible in which the Stoic molds his thoughts. The distractions of the world, social media, the latest news, the constant ping of messages are irrelevant to him. He has learned to protect his mind as a lion protects its den. His thoughts, his time, his energy are precious, and he does not squander them on fleeting things. In these moments of quiet solitude, he reconnects with his deeper self. He checks his emotions, examines his thoughts, and strengthens his resolve. The key to this is radical acceptance, The Stoic man does not pretend that life will always go according to plan. He does not fool himself into believing that he can control everything. Instead, he accepts that life will bring pain, hardship, failure, and even betrayal. But he also accepts that he alone determines how he will respond to these trials. He will not allow the world to shape him. He will shape himself through the choices he makes, moment by moment. This radical acceptance is not passive resignation. It is a powerful declaration of self-mastery. To accept life as it is without complaint or resistance is the ultimate strength. It is a refusal to be defeated by the circumstances of the world. The Stoic man understands that the only true control he has is over his own actions and reactions. Everything else is beyond his grasp, and so he chooses to rise, to meet the day with clarity and strength, regardless of what it may hold. As the morning stretches on, the Stoic continues to build his inner fortress. He practices gratitude, another cornerstone of Stoic philosophy. But his gratitude is not for the fleeting joys of life. His gratitude is for the simple fact that he has another day to grow, to learn, to become better. He understands that each day is a gift, a blank slate upon which he can write the story of his life. In this, the Stoic man embodies true freedom. He is free because he is not bound by the opinions of others or the desires that plague most men. He does not need the approval of the world, the validation of his peers, or the praise of his lovers. His worth is not determined by external validation. His worth comes from within. He is not seeking to prove himself to anyone because he already knows who he is. This detachment from external validation is what gives the Stoic his power. The modern world is obsessed with approval, likes, shares, followers, comments. Men today often measure their worth by how others perceive them. But the Stoic understands that the opinions of others are like the weather, unpredictable and fleeting. He knows that his value is inherent, not something that can be added or taken away by others. The Stoic man builds his morning not on the expectation of external rewards, but on the commitment to his own values. He is guided by an inner compass, unwavering in his direction. And this internal guidance is rooted in one thing: purpose. Purpose is what gives the Stoic man his direction. It is the fuel that drives him when the world would have him stop. It is the reason he rises each day, the reason he persists, the reason he continues to push through pain, failure, and adversity. Purpose is not something you find, it is something you create. It is not given to you by others, by society, or by the world. It is forged in the fires of your own choices. A man without purpose is like a ship adrift at sea, blown by every wave, lost in every storm. But a man with purpose is like a ship with a captain who knows where he is going, no matter what the sea may throw at him. The Stoic knows that the key to fulfillment is not in avoiding hardship, but in embracing it with purpose and resolve. In his meditations, Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself that his purpose was not to live for personal gain, but to serve others, to contribute to the greater good, and to live in accordance with virtue. His purpose was rooted in a higher calling, one that transcended his personal desires and ego. This is the same for the Stoic man today. He knows that his life is not about the accumulation of wealth or the attainment of power. It is about living with integrity, making a positive impact on the world, and growing every day into the best version of himself. He wakes up each morning with the intention to live by this purpose, to act with honor, and to treat others with the respect they deserve. Discipline is the bridge between purpose and action. Without discipline, purpose remains a dream, a vague idea without any real substance. But with discipline, purpose becomes a daily reality. The Stoic understands that discipline is not about restriction, it is about freedom. It is the freedom to choose the path that aligns with his highest values, to stay on course even when the world tries to pull him off track. Each morning, the Stoic practices discipline. He rises early, takes time to reflect, and sets his intentions for the day. He understands that each small decision, each small action adds up. These small acts of discipline are the building blocks of greatness. They are the foundation upon which his life is built. and with each passing day he becomes stronger, more resilient, and more aligned with his purpose. But the Stoic man is not blind to the realities of life. He knows that no matter how much he plans, how much he prepares, the world will still throw obstacles in his path, and it is in the face of these obstacles that his true power is revealed. The Stoic man does not crumble in the face of adversity. He rises. He meets the challenge with a calm, steady heart, knowing that every obstacle is an opportunity to grow. In the end, it is not the victories that define the Stoic man, but the way he faces the trials of life. It is not the moments of triumph that matter most, but the moments when he falls and rises again, stronger than before. The Stoic understands that true power lies not in avoiding life's challenges, but in embracing them. He does not fear the storms because he knows that he has the strength to weather them, and in the calm that follows he stands stronger, wiser, and more at peace with himself than ever before. As the day progresses, the Stoic man continues his journey, a silent force moving through the world with deliberate steps, unaffected by the distractions that would derail the average man. His mind is his fortress, his heart an unyielding foundation of purpose, and his actions are guided by a sense of calm certainty that others can only envy. He knows that the world will throw challenges his way, trials that will test his character, his resolve, and his very soul. But he is not afraid. He is prepared. The modern world is filled with noise. It presses in from all sides, the constant bombardment of demands, expectations, and distractions. But the Stoic has learned to tune out the chaos. His power lies not in his ability to control everything around him, but in his ability to remain unmoved by it. He has mastered the art of stillness amidst the storm, but this stillness is not passive, it is active. It is the result of years of training, of choosing to remain focused, present, and deliberate in every moment. It is the product of waking up each day with the intention of mastering the self. And this mastery is not a fleeting achievement. It is a lifelong pursuit. Each action he takes is deliberate, purposeful, and in alignment with his values. The Stoic man does not waste time on trivial pursuits. He knows that his time is limited and that every moment is an opportunity to build something greater than himself. Whether in his work, his relationships, or his own personal growth, he remains unwavering in his commitment to excellence. This commitment requires discipline, a discipline that extends beyond the morning hours and shapes every part of his day. Discipline is not just about restricting oneself from indulgence, it is about choosing to act in a way that aligns with one's highest purpose, regardless of the circumstances. The Stoic man understands that his choices shape his future. Every decision, no matter how small, is an opportunity to reinforce his strength, his character, and his destiny. Yet even as he commits to discipline, the Stoic also understands the importance of adaptability. Life is unpredictable. The world will not always align with his expectations. Plans will be thwarted, obstacles will arise, and failures will occur. But the Stoic man does not despair. He knows that his ability to adapt to the changing winds of life is what sets him apart. In fact, adaptability is a mark of strength, not weakness. The Stoic sees challenges not as setbacks, but as opportunities for growth. When life presents him with an obstacle, he does not recoil in fear or frustration. Instead, he meets it with a calm, measured approach, ready to learn from the experience and adjust his course as needed. This is the essence of Stoic resilience, the ability to bend without breaking. The modern man, with all his distractions and pressures, often feels as though he must remain rigid in his beliefs and actions. He believes that success comes from controlling everything around him, from making things go his way. But the Stoic understands a deeper truth. True strength comes from the ability to remain adaptable, to adjust to the changing circumstances of life without losing sight of what truly matters. This adaptability is rooted in one fundamental truth. The Stoic man knows that he is not in control of everything. He cannot control the actions of others, nor can he control the outcome of every endeavor, but he can control how he responds, or how He can control his emotions, his thoughts, and his actions. This control is his greatest weapon, and it is in the exercise of this control that the Stoic man finds his freedom. He is not bound by the opinions of others, by the expectations of society, or by the fleeting desires that often dominate the average person's life. His freedom comes from within. He does not need external validation because he has already validated himself. His worth is not determined by what others think of him, but by the strength of his character, the clarity of his purpose, and the integrity of his actions. This freedom is what allows the Stoic man to be unshakable in the face of adversity. He is not afraid to stand alone, to walk his own path, because he knows that he is the master of his own destiny. He does not seek approval, and he does not fear rejection. He knows that his value is not tied to the opinions of others, but to his own sense of self. This sense of self is built on the foundation of self-mastery. The Stoic man is not a slave to his desires, his emotions, or his impulses. He has learned to recognize these forces within himself, but he does not allow them to control him. Instead, he controls them. He does not act out of frustration, anger, or fear. He acts with purpose, with clarity, and with a calm mind. Self-mastery is the cornerstone of Stoic philosophy. It is the foundation upon which everything else is built. A man who has mastered himself is free from the tyranny of his emotions and impulses. He is able to act with deliberate intention, regardless of the external circumstances. His strength comes from within, and it is this inner strength that defines him. As the day continues, the Stoic man moves through the world with purpose, clarity, and a quiet strength. He does not seek attention, but his presence is undeniable. He moves with the confidence of someone who knows exactly who he is and what he stands for. His actions speak louder than words, and his strength comes from the silent fortitude that he has cultivated within himself. In every interaction, in every decision, he embodies the principles of Stoicism: resilience, emotional fortitude, radical acceptance, and self-mastery. He does not demand the world be as he wishes, but he chooses to meet it with unwavering calm and purpose. He is unshaken by the ups and downs of life because he knows that his true strength lies not in what happens to him, but in how he responds to it. At the end of the day, when the world is winding down and the noise of life begins to fade, the Stoic man reflects on his actions. He does not wallow in self-criticism or regret. He simply observes. He considers what he did well, what he could improve, and what he has learned. Each day is an opportunity for growth, an opportunity to become better, to become stronger, and to continue on the path toward greater self-mastery. And as he closes his eyes at night, he does so with a sense of peace, knowing that he has lived in accordance with his highest values. He has acted with purpose, integrity, and discipline. He has risen above the distractions of the world and remained true to himself. He has been the master of his own mind, and in doing so, he has built the mindset of a champion. This is the path of Stoicism. It is not a path of ease or comfort, but a path of strength, clarity, and self-mastery. It is a path that requires discipline, resilience, and an unwavering commitment to living according to one's highest values. But it is also a path that leads to freedom, the freedom to live life on your own terms, to be the master of your own destiny, and to rise above the chaos of the world with a calm, steady heart. The Stoic man does not need the world to change for him to be happy. He has already found peace within himself. He is not dependent on external circumstances for his happiness. His happiness comes from within, from the strength of his character, the clarity of his purpose, and the quiet power of self-mastery. And as he stands at the threshold of each new day, he does so with the knowledge that he is ready to face whatever comes, ready to rise above the challenges, and ready to continue building the mindset of a champion. The days pass, and the Stoic man continues his journey with the unwavering resolve of someone who has already conquered the hardest battles, those fought within his own mind. As he moves through the world, he remains a steady force, not reacting to the shifting tides of external events, but holding fast to his own purpose. In his eyes, the world may change, but he will remain unchanged. The obstacles he faces will be many, but each one is simply a lesson, a test of his strength, his resolve, and his character. But this is not to say that the Stoic man is blind to the reality of the world. He does not live in a bubble, nor does he ignore the complexities of life. He is acutely aware of the suffering and hardship that exists in the world, and yet he remains unmoved by it. This is the essence of Stoic wisdom: to acknowledge the pain and hardship of life without being consumed by it, to accept the world as it is without succumbing to bitterness, anger, or despair. In the modern world, it is easy to become overwhelmed by the chaos that surrounds us. The pressures of work, relationships, societal expectations, all of these can pull a man in many directions. The world expects him to conform, to react, to follow the whims of others. But the Stoic man knows that true strength lies not in responding to every demand placed upon him, but in remaining focused on his own purpose, his own values, and his own path. This is where the modern man falters. In his search for success, for validation, he becomes lost in the expectations of others. He sacrifices his peace of mind in exchange for the approval of those around him. He loses himself in the noise, in the pursuit of fleeting pleasures, in the endless chase for something outside of himself that will never bring him true fulfillment. But the Stoic does not chase after external validation. He does not look for approval from others because he knows that approval is fleeting and unreliable. His worth is not determined by what others think of him, but by the strength of his character, the clarity of his purpose, and the integrity of his actions. He does not measure himself by the standards of the world, but by the standards he has set for himself. This internal validation is what makes the Stoic man truly free. He is not bound by the opinions of others or the expectations of society. He does not need to prove anything to anyone because he already knows who he is. His identity is not tied to external achievements or possessions. It is rooted in his character, his values, and his ability to master his own mind. But this does not mean the Stoic man lives in isolation. He does not retreat from the world or withdraw from relationships. In fact, the Stoic man understands that the world and the people around him are an integral part of his journey. He knows that his purpose is not to live for himself alone, but to contribute to the greater good, to serve others, and to lead by example. His strength lies not in his ability to dominate others, but in his ability to lift them up, to inspire them with his actions, and to help them realize their own potential. The Stoic man is a leader, but not in the traditional sense. He does not seek power for its own sake. He does not crave recognition or accolades. His leadership is rooted in humility, in service, and in the example he sets. He leads through his actions, through his discipline, through his commitment to his own values. Those around him are drawn to his quiet strength, his steady resolve, and his ability to remain calm in the face of adversity. The Stoic man does not need to boast of his accomplishments, for his actions speak louder than words. He does not need the applause of others, for he knows that the true reward lies in living in accordance with his own principles. He does not seek validation from the outside world, for he has already validated himself through his choices, his discipline, and his commitment to his own growth. This inner strength, this unshakable sense of self, is what allows the Stoic man to remain resilient in the face of life's challenges. When the world throws obstacles in his path, he does not crumble. He does not surrender to frustration, anger, or despair. Instead, he faces each challenge with the calm, steady determination of someone who knows that every difficulty is an opportunity for growth, every setback is a chance to learn, every failure is a stepping stone on the path to success. The Stoic man does not see challenges as roadblocks, but as opportunities to prove his strength, his resilience, and his character. When he stumbles, he rises. When he falls, he gets back up. This is the essence of Stoic resilience, the ability to bounce back from adversity, to learn from hardship, and to continue moving forward with unwavering determination. The Stoic does not see life as a series of random events. He sees it as a series of tests each one designed to strengthen his character and to bring him closer to his highest potential. He knows that every obstacle, every hardship, every challenge is an opportunity for growth, and so he faces each one with the confidence of a man who knows that he is capable of overcoming anything life throws his way. In this way, the Stoic man becomes unbreakable. Not because he is immune to pain or hardship, but because he has learned to transform these experiences into opportunities for growth. He does not allow life's challenges to define him. He defines himself through his response to them. And as the Stoic man continues on his journey, he remains centered in the knowledge that his strength, his peace, and his purpose are not dependent on external circumstances. The world may change, but he will not. The storms of life may rage, but he will remain steadfast. The opinions of others may shift, but he will remain true to himself. This is the power of Stoicism. It is not about controlling the world around you, but about controlling your response to it. It is not about avoiding pain or hardship, but about accepting it, learning from it, and growing stronger because of it. It is about taking ownership of your life, your thoughts, and your actions, and living with purpose, discipline, and resilience. The Stoic man understands that life is fleeting, and that every moment is an opportunity to live according to his highest values. He knows that the only thing truly within his control is how he responds to the world, and so he chooses to respond with strength, with clarity, and with purpose. And when the day comes to a close, when the world quiets down, the Stoic man reflects on his actions with a sense of peace, knowing that he has lived in alignment with his purpose. He has faced the challenges of the day with strength and resilience, and he has grown stronger because of it. He has lived with discipline, with gratitude, and with integrity. And as he lays his head down to rest, he does so with the quiet knowledge that he is one step closer to becoming the man he was always meant to be. The Stoic man does not need external validation, for he has already validated himself. His worth is not determined by the opinions of others, but by the strength of his character and the integrity of his actions. And in the silence of the night, he knows that he is enough. As the Stoic man reflects on the day's journey, he finds himself grateful for the quiet moments, the moments of solitude where he connects deeply with himself, where the noise of the world fades into the background. It is in this solitude that his strength is built, not through the approval of others or the praise of the world, but through the realization that he is enough simply as he is. In the silence, he finds clarity, purpose, and the space to fortify his mind, preparing him for whatever challenges lie ahead. This deep sense of inner strength is not a sudden gift. It is earned over time through daily practice, discipline, and a relentless commitment to self-mastery. The Stoic man does not seek the easy way, nor does he wish for the world to conform to his desires. Instead, he welcomes the challenges life brings, understanding that it is in overcoming these obstacles that his character is forged. When the modern man is confronted with adversity, he often seeks external validation, or he allows his emotions to dictate his actions. But the Stoic knows better. He understands that adversity is not something to be feared or avoided, it is something to be embraced. For every challenge is an opportunity for growth, every difficulty a chance to build resilience, and every hardship a step toward becoming the man he is meant to be. In the face of adversity, the Stoic man does not react in the same way the world does. He does not react with fear, anger, or frustration. Instead, he responds with calm resolve. He accepts that hardship is an inevitable part of life, and he meets it with the strength that comes from within. This is the true power of Stoicism, the ability to remain steadfast and unshaken, no matter the storm that rages outside. The Stoic man knows that life will test him, just as it tests everyone. The question is not whether challenges will come, but how he will respond to them. Will he let them defeat him? Will he surrender to the temptation of despair? Or will he rise above them, stronger and more resilient than before? This is where the Stoic man's power lies, in his ability to choose his response. In moments of suffering, the Stoic man practices radical acceptance. He does not deny the pain, nor does he run from it. He accepts it, acknowledges it, and then chooses to rise above it. The pain does not control him. He controls how he responds to it, and in this control he finds peace. It is not the absence of pain that brings peace, but the acceptance of it, the willingness to face it head-on and continue moving forward with courage and determination. This courage, however, is not the absence of fear, but the ability to act despite it. The Stoic man knows that fear is a natural emotion, but he does not allow it to control him. He faces fear with clarity and purpose, understanding that fear is simply an emotion, not a directive. He's not bound by his emotions, but instead, he uses them as tools to guide his actions. He feels fear, but he does not allow it to dictate his choices. And it is this emotional fortitude, this ability to stay grounded in the midst of chaos, that sets the Stoic man apart. While the world around him may crumble, while the storms of life may rage, he stands firm, unwavering in his commitment to his purpose and his principles. His strength is not in his ability to control the world, but in his ability to control himself. This self-control, however, does not mean the suppression of emotions. The Stoic man does not seek to eliminate emotions or desires altogether. Rather, he seeks to understand them, to observe them without judgment, and to act in accordance with his values, not his impulses. He is not a slave to his desires or fears, he is their master. In the same way that the Stoic man maintains control over his emotions, he also maintains control over his actions. Every decision he makes, every choice he takes, is deliberate, purposeful, and aligned with his highest values. He does not act out of reaction or impulse. He acts with clarity and intent, knowing that each choice he makes is a step on the path to becoming the man he is meant to be. This is the true meaning of self-mastery, the ability to choose how to act, to remain steadfast in the face of adversity, and to live in alignment with one's values regardless of the external circumstances. The Stoic man does not allow the world to shape him. He shapes himself through his choices, his actions, and his discipline. As the Stoic man moves through his day, he remains grounded in the present moment, never allowing his mind to wander into the past or future. He understands that the present moment is all he truly has. The past is gone and the future is uncertain. What matters is the here and now, the actions he takes, the thoughts he entertains, and the way he shows up in the world. In the stillness of the morning, in the quiet moments before the world demands his attention, the Stoic man centers himself. He reflects on his purpose, his values, and his intentions for the day. He understands that how he begins his day will shape how he moves through it. Will he rise with purpose, or will he be swept away by the tide of distractions and demands? The Stoic man knows that he must consciously decide each morning how he will engage with the world. This decision is not based on external circumstances or emotions, but on the inner resolve to live with purpose and integrity. He decides to act with clarity, to respond with strength, and to remain true to his values, regardless of the challenges that may come his way. As he moves through the day, the Stoic man remains mindful of his thoughts, his words, and his actions. He does not waste time on trivial pursuits, nor does he allow himself to be consumed by the distractions of the world. He knows that his time is limited, and he chooses to invest it in things that align with his highest purpose. In his relationships, the Stoic man remains steady and unshaken. He treats others with respect, kindness, and understanding, but he does not seek their approval or validation. His worth is not determined by how others perceive him. He knows that the true measure of a man is not in the opinions of others, but in his own integrity and the way he lives according to his values. At the end of the day, the Stoic man reflects once again. He considers his actions, his choices, and his growth. He is not self-critical in the way many men are. He does not judge himself harshly for his mistakes. Instead, he observes, he learns from his experiences, knowing that each day is an opportunity to become better, stronger, and more aligned with his purpose. This is the path of the Stoic, a path of discipline, self-mastery, and purpose. It is not an easy path, but it is one that leads to true freedom. The freedom to live life on your own terms, to be the master of your own mind, and to rise above the chaos of the world with clarity and strength. The Stoic man does not need external validation, for he has already validated himself. He does not seek approval, for he knows that true approval comes from within. And in the silence of the night, as he closes his eyes, he does so with peace, knowing that he has lived with purpose, with integrity, and with strength. The world may change, but he remains unchanged, unshaken, and steadfast in his commitment to becoming the man he was always meant to be. As the night deepens, the Stoic man rests not in surrender, but in quiet acknowledgement of a day well lived, guided by his purpose, his clarity, and his unwavering resolve. Sleep, for him, is not an escape but a natural respite. The body, tired from a day of purpose, finds rest in the knowledge that the mind and soul have remained steadfast, unshaken, and in alignment with the highest ideals. Tomorrow, he will rise again, not because he has to, but because he has chosen to. The Stoic man, while he rests, understands that each day brings with it a new opportunity, a new test, a new challenge. The strength he builds is not just in the victories or successes he achieves, but in the steady commitment to his values regardless of the outcomes. The world may reward him, or it may punish him, but none of that can touch the fortress he has built within himself. Each morning is a chance to renew this commitment. There is no rest in complacency, no victory in idleness. The Stoic man does not wait for the world to hand him what he desires. He takes each day and molds it according to his will. He rises not because life demands it, but because he is determined to live his life with purpose, with strength, and with the integrity that guides every action. The next day will not be perfect. There will be setbacks, moments of weakness, and unforeseen obstacles. But these challenges are not seen by the Stoic man as failures. No, they are seen as opportunities. Opportunities to grow, to reflect, and to continue mastering himself. For the Stoic understands that his journey is not one of avoiding mistakes, but learning from them, each misstep sharpening his focus, each failure deepening his resolve. When others are distracted by the noise of the world, when they are swayed by their emotions or the opinions of others, the Stoic man stands apart. He knows that his true power lies not in reacting to life, but in choosing his response. The world may try to knock him off course, but his course has already been set, rooted deeply in the principles that guide him. This is what makes the Stoic unshakable. It is not an absence of obstacles or challenges, but the knowledge that no matter what happens, he remains in control of his reactions. No man can take away his peace unless he allows it. No external force can alter his sense of self unless he permits it. He has learned the art of inner sovereignty, a power that no external influence can touch. And so each day, the Stoic man takes ownership of his mind, his body, and his soul. He chooses to invest his energy not in seeking approval, not in chasing fleeting desires, but in creating a life aligned with his highest values. He doesn't live for others' expectations, and he does not wait for permission to live according to his principles. He is his own standard. His worth comes from within, and so he never seeks to prove himself to anyone. He does not need to. As the Stoic man rises once more, he is ready for the world. The world may try to distract him, it may try to knock him down, but he is prepared. The work is not about the battles he faces outside of himself, but about the internal mastery he continues to refine. His mind, sharper than any sword, is his greatest ally. His heart, steady and resilient, is his greatest source of strength. His spirit, guided by the steady principles of Stoicism, carries him forward. Every man has his trials. Every man faces temptations, failures, and doubts. But the Stoic does not let these moments define him. He defines them. And in doing so, he becomes stronger. Each time the world throws an obstacle in his path, he sees it not as a setback, but as an opportunity for growth. He welcomes adversity, knowing that it is through hardship that true strength is forged. This is the path of the Stoic man. It is not a path of avoiding pain or hardship, It is a path of radical acceptance. To accept life not as it should be, but as it is, and to rise above it with dignity, with strength, and with the unwavering belief that you control your own destiny. The Stoic understands that the moment you relinquish control over yourself, you relinquish control over your life. So he guards his thoughts, his emotions, and his actions as a lion guards its den. He will not be moved by the whims of the world. He will stand firm in his purpose, unwavering in the pursuit of his ideals. At the core of Stoicism is the ability to respond to life with wisdom, to act with integrity, and to remain grounded in the face of chaos. The Stoic man does not fight the world. He accepts it, learns from it, and moves through it with strength and poise. He understands that true power lies not in what happens to him, but in how he chooses to respond. This is the essence of self-mastery, the realization that you are the master of your own emotions, your own thoughts, and your own destiny. You cannot control the events of the world, but you can control how you respond to them. The Stoic man does not seek to escape life's difficulties, but to meet them with unwavering strength, with a mind that remains clear, with a heart that remains resolute. The journey of the Stoic is not one of external triumphs, but of inner transformation. It is a journey of continually returning to your principles, continually rising, continually choosing to act in alignment with your highest values. It is a journey that never ends, because each day offers new opportunities for growth, new chances to become better, stronger, and more grounded in your true self. And when the final day comes, when the Stoic man reaches the end of his journey, he will look back, not with regret, but with peace. For he knows that he has lived a life true to himself, that he has faced each challenge with grace, and that he has built the life he set out to create. He will not mourn the end, for he knows that his legacy is already secured in the choices he made, in the strength he cultivated, and in the way he lived each day with purpose, integrity, and unwavering resolve. The man who owns his silence commands the world. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you found it helpful, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe the channel. Also, make sure to hit the notification bell so you won't miss any of my upcoming videos. Thanks again for your support, and see you in the next video.